Welcome back to Davidson Handyman. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace a single glass panel in a multi-panel door. Tools you're going to need for this job are a razor, or a box knife, a box cutter, a pry bar, your caulking gun, your white baseboards molding trim caulk, clear silicone caulk that has a lot of flexibility, a nail gun with 3/4 inch 18 gauge nails, a measuring tape, a plastic scoring knife, a pencil, a straight edge, and of course your replacement pane of glass. In this case I'm doing plexiglass, which will make it a lot easier to cut. If you're using glass, then a plastic scoring knife isn't going to work. You need a glass cutter, so make sure you have the appropriate tools. But once you have all of this stuff ready to go, you can get to it. Some of the other things that will be helpful to have are a shop vac for cleaning up any broken glass, any debris, wood splinters, pieces of sealant or caulk that you pull off of the existing window frame, a hammer that you might use with the pry bar if you need to help it get under the trim a little more, and some pliers for pulling out any nails that are still in the trim or in the window frame. So add those to your list of required tools and then you're good to go. Broom and dustpan might not hurt either, in case you have bigger chunks of glass. But oh, and then also for safety, some cut-proof gloves. If you're going to be handling glass and dealing with broken glass and pieces, wear some cut-proof gloves, and safety glasses never hurt. So I said it, it's your choice whether you use it, but recommended. All right, let's get to it. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a box cutter or a razor blade, and we're going to score the bottom edge of the trim all the way around the window. Now, the side of the door you choose to do this on does matter. So you want to do this on the outside of the door. So I'm on the outside of this door. This trim is going to come off a lot easier. The inside door trim is not going to be easy for you. So be on the outside of the door when you do this. Take a box cutter and gently do a first pass around the windows, and then continue doing that deeper and deeper until you get almost all the way in, and then we'll go to the next step. Stay tuned. So I'm going to do a first pass here, just underneath. We'll find. You'll see that paint start chipping away. That's okay. We're going to re-caulk and seal this anyway. So I'll do that. I'll go to this side. And that's okay. I'm going to sand and caulk that anyway. So if you slip, you can fix it. Not a big deal, but try not to. All right, so we're gonna do this at the top, and we're gonna redo it and redo it and redo it several times over until the razor blade is almost completely in there and it starts feeling loose. And then we're gonna use this little pry tool. You can use a painter's tool, a putty knife or something, just to get inside the crack underneath here, and we're going to gently wiggle that loose. Be careful how much pressure you put on these, because this trim will snap and it'll be a pain to go find the same style and replace it. So we're going to continue scoring this until it's really loose. It'll take time, but once it's feeling a little bit loose, you're going to get a pry bar, put it underneath, and just kind of wiggle it up and down until it loosens up, and then we can start working the trim out that way. So I'm gonna continue working on that and I'll be back. Once you have the groove scored all the way around the window, what you're gonna wanna do is take your pry tool and put it behind like that and just kind of start to work it around, being very gentle. You want to get the nails out, and especially at the bottoms where they intersect. You want to be very careful not to break it. And coming in from this side, if you remove the glass pane first, it's a lot easier. But this one's already kind of intact for the most part, so rather than just shatter this everywhere, I'm going to try and work around it. But if you take the pane out and you remove all the glass pieces from the inside, you can fit this behind and push it out this way, and it helps come out. But just work at it a little bit at a time. You can see it's separated, so it's just a matter of getting it out without breaking the trim itself. So just work at it. Once you get one piece out, the rest of them should kind of domino and be a lot easier, but it's this tension right here in the corners that keeps them locked in. So we're gonna work on this, get this trim out, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I was able to get the pry bar back here and slide that forward, and look at that. Comes right out. And you can see the old caulk that was in here. So now that we have one of these out, we're gonna start at the edge and start folding them down and back. And we'll take this one, pull that back, and once you get that opening, you can really get that leverage to pull it out without the snapping it and all that. So we'll take all this out. Then we're gonna try and get the glass out still in one piece without shattering it. It just depends on how hard this caulk is holding it in place. But I'm gonna take all this trim out and then we'll go from there. You can see I got this piece loose, and then you can kind of slide it out of the corner. And then this piece should come right out like that. See, domino. And then this piece looks like it's still a little bit stuck. So I'm gonna put the pry bar in here and just pop it up, and then we should be good to go. Okay, one more thing. If you have to break the panel out of the window like I do with this, get some tape and tape the window entirely and then break it, and it'll help all the glass shards stay together and not spread all over the place. So I'm gonna have to do that for this one because it's caulked in place pretty good. So I'm gonna tape this up, break it, get it out of there, clean it up. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so I have the window taped up. And there you go. Minor cleanup. So the tape helps out. So use cut-proof gloves to take the rest of the shards out of the side of the window, or some pliers, and clean up the window frame on the inside, and then we'll get ready to put the new piece in. Okay, so we got everything cleaned up. This was quite a bit of a pain. I don't know what kind of sealant they used, but it was commercial grade and it wasn't meant to come off. So I had to use a chisel and a hammer and chisel all of the glass out and then make this smooth all the way around. So we are good to go. Once you have a flat surface, even though you can still see residual stuff in here. Once you have a flat surface, because this is smooth, you're ready to measure and cut. So measure the height and width of your window right to the edge, because you're you're going to use this flange to hold the pane in, but you want to go right to the edge, maybe a 1/16 of an inch less. And then get your window pane cut, and then we'll get to the install. Okay, so the width of our window opening is 6 3/4 inches. So I have the plexiglass marked at 6 3/4 in numerous places all the way down from top to bottom, and I have my straight edge. So what I'm going to do now is just continue to score it down the side with the scoring tool. You could also use a utility knife or a box cutter or any sharp blade you can use for this. So as long as you get a good deep score that'll allow it to snap clean, you're good to go. So I'm going to score this, and then we'll snap it, and then we'll get the length. Stay tuned. So now that you have everything scored nicely, you want to find a flat table or an edge. Obviously, if this is glass, don't put your weight on it. But you want something to where you can get even leverage, and then you just push, and there you go. A nice clean break. And now we'll measure the length and get that snapped. So now that we have our window pane, we dry fitted it to the frame and everything fit nice and clean. So now we're going to take our clear caulk sealant, and we're going to put a bead of caulk around the bottom corners of each side. And you don't want to go too crazy, because when you push the glass pane in, it'll ooze out the other side, and it just makes a little bit additional cleanup for you if you put too much. So put a solid seal on there. Once you get the bead of caulk in here, you're going to put the pane of glass in, and you're going to push against the frame, and you'll see it spread out and seal all the way around. And you want to make sure you have a good tight seal all the way around, and then we'll reinstall the trim. Stay tuned. Okay, so you can see we have a nice solid seal all the way around. What I'm going to do is go on I'm going to install the trim first. So I'm going to put the pieces back in. I'm going to dry fit them, all 4 of them, and they should stay securely in place. And then I'm going to use the nail gun with the 3/4 inch 18 gauge brad nails to put the trim in place. Do not go straight through the trim, go up into the wood and stay going towards the frame and the wood. Otherwise you could drive a nail through the other side or into the other glass pane and cause more issues. So I'm going to install the trim, nail it, and then get to the other side and clean up all of that caulk, and then we'll come back with our white trim and molding caulk and caulk in the trim, and then we should be good. Stay tuned. Okay, so the trim is dry fit. That's what it looks like, and let's nail it down. Okay, so the trim is nailed in and caulked and sealed. You can see I got a nice seal of caulk on both sides, in the gaps, all the way up and around, up underneath. And then once that dries, you'll be able to sand the chipping paint off and then repaint it, if that's something you want to do. And also, you'll get some little smears of caulk on the glass. Once the caulk dries, you can come back and clean that off. That shouldn't be an issue. So wipe what you can off as you're doing it. You don't want to leave a ton of caulk on the glass, but like these little tiny specks, if you just continue to try and wash this window, you're going to keep pulling caulk from the trim back onto the glass. So get this all set up, let the caulk dry overnight, come back the next day with glass cleaner, clean both sides of the window pane, and you're good to go. So that is now complete. So thank you for watching. I hope this really helped. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll see ya.